Voila, the FP3 in Las Vegas. A lot of exciting things. Mercedes said yesterday that they are going to see how they can work on their long runs because they had a fast car. They look pretty decent, especially coming from the Brazilian GP in which they had one of the most terrible races, not just for one driver, but for the two drivers. So coming to Las Vegas, they have a very decent car in qualifying, which looks cool. But on the long runs, they are off the pace. They are looking like in the range of Red Bull. When I say Red Bull, I mean Red Bull looks so pathetic yesterday. The wings they brought were not functioning well. From what the team principal said, Chris Horner said they cannot really design too much wings because of the cost cap. So those wings were wings that they used in Monza, and what they are doing to those wings is to cut trim, in which they did overnight. They had to trim that wing, and I'll call the person a barber. The barber that trimmed that wing did a good job, as in the wing on Sergio Perez's car and Max Verstappen's car were pretty decent. The way the guy trimmed it out. The guy is a good cutter. Man, that guy cut so well. The guy trimmed it. I think I have that tool in the house. I'll check. The guy cut it so well that it looks flappy. But unfortunately, coming into FP3, as early as they came in, they were not looking strong. And they also came in on medium tires. They didn't just scrub the tires. I think they destroyed those medium tires. And I hope they would have a medium tire for the main race tomorrow, because if they're having bad tires for the race, that would also affect their performance in the race. At the point, Max Verstappen was unable to drive the car. The car was undrivable because they are like 8 seconds off the pace, and they are pushing and pushing the tires on a track that is dirty, that is oily. The track will be open during the day for cars to pass. You know, a lot of things happens on the track, and it's not like the tires, you know. So they were pushing that and destroying those tires. And they came in, made a lot of setup changes, but towards the end of the FP3, they came out and Max Verstappen, he does well. But would he have improved if he had the opportunity to go on long runs if there was no red flag? We don't know yet, because the McLarens too had their own tweaks and they came out doing well. But still, on their long runs, Red Bull don't look cool. Maybe with these changes, they would look better, but I still think they are far off. They're well far off, except they'll be using engine modes and be taking penalties for Qatar, in which they can afford to do. They're only gunning down for the Drivers' Championship, not Constructors' Championship. So I think they can do that. They can take a risk on that, and it's a risk that is worth trying for them, I believe. Looking at where they are now, they look in a better place today, unlike some other teams. And I was saying, like Mercedes, because we still don't know their race pace, their true race pace. Maybe it has improved from what they changed overnight. But still, Mercedes having the fastest time in 3 practices, though Russell taking it up today from Lewis Hamilton. And we don't know yet how, because it was so close, Albon getting into the right time, Hulkenberg and his teammate Kevin Magnussen doing a pretty decent job on their own flying lap. And it looks like these teams, especially the American team, are not coming to joke. They are not coming to play. They are coming for some decent jobs to say, hey, we're here. We just want to make sure this is our soil. We do a perfect job here. Ferrari look pretty decent. They made a lot of setup changes. They look fast. I think on the long runs, Ferrari and McLaren are close par on the long runs, and that is where we are going to be in the main race. Let's see how that one will pan out. In qualifying, it's a 4-way horse run. That's the Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, Red Bull. Those 4 teams are going to compete, because McLaren are not looking off the pace, but still the Mercedes looks like a benchmark. In all the sessions, they were like 5/10 up in qualifying. So let's see what happens. Mercedes might come in the qualifying and they are just like, whoa, 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 whoa. So let's see what happens to them in the main qualifying and in the main race. But after qualifying, I'll be able to give you a lowdown on how those teams will perform. Let me quickly say this. Valtteri Bottas taking a 5-place grid penalty for taking a new ERS system for the race on Sunday. So he'll be taking a 5-place grid penalty wherever he qualifies. And remember, the Sauber team have been so worse this year. Let's see where they qualify. George Russell took energy storage system over the night. It's going to be a decent race. Now, on the new race director, there are videos flying around of the new race director dirtying the track. I think F1 needs to do more. Some habits are very poor, and I think they need to do more. If the guy had stayed in Singapore for a long time, maybe that could have readjusted his mindset. What he did, if that is a true video, is so wrong. Dirty the track. I'm cleaning his hand with some piece of paper or tissue and throwing it right around the track. Looks very, very irresponsible, I would say. To Andretti GM Cadillac bid. Like I said in the previous shot, and let me quickly say this, I'll make a third video about it. Andretti bid might be working close to joining F1 for 2 reasons. Number 1, Andretti himself has stepped down. Now, they've built a facility in UK and they have the American facility, but Andretti himself, Michael Andretti, has stepped down. He will be watching from outside, and I think is the main hindrance from the team getting into F1. And now F1 are looking at an OEM as the major manufacturer, in which that is what GM and Cadillac is. So GM Cadillac, in collaborations with Andretti, might be entering as early as 2026 as a team in F1. That might be an 11th team. Although some teams are complaining about the dilution, how it will affect the money. It's all about the money, cash. They are thinking about it, but let's see how it pipes up. But I think 11th, 12th team will be a good thing. I've said it over and over again. There'll be dilution, but certainly if they can bring more sponsorship, more adverts, more money, dilution is not there. F1 makes more money. Everybody laughs. We just want to see competition, want to see more drivers because there are lots of talent roofing out. So where do those guys go to? We need to see them, especially the young talents that we're seeing in F1 recently. It is a funnel, or should I say a pipe full of talent. So we need a lot of drivers. And coming to America, 3 or 4 races in America, American drivers makes a whole lot of sense. But I still keep saying it, Africa is a place. If everyone come back to Africa, not just in South Africa, come to the West Africa, North Africa, East Africa, they would not want to go anywhere in the world again. I bet it with you. Everyone comes to Africa, they will not want to go anywhere again in the world because Africa is the best. It's the biggest place, it's the biggest market for the brand. You may not agree with me, but I'm telling you, Africa is the biggest market for that brand, F1, because we have everything from production line to the main race. The people are there, the fans are there. Fans are heavy, crazy, enlightened, leaded up. They want to support. Well, it's left for you, F1, to come to Africa and see what I'm saying. But certainly, if you come, you don't want to lose it. You are just going to understand that this is a huge place. Africa is huge. Africa is everything you need in F1. Going into qualifying, we are going to see more, and I'll be able to tell you who really clinches the pole and also how the race is going to pan out tomorrow. But like I said, it's a close-knitted qualifying between Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, and McLaren. Lance Stroll caused the red flag. He just had a total shutdown on his electronic system. The drivers just did their start procedure immediately after the red flag, and that was it. Going into qualifying, I'll give you loads of breakdowns and lots more to expect tomorrow. Yeah, we got the qualifying done, fast, easy, smooth, and it's done. So the qualifying is off, and George Russell took pole position. The Mercedes was performing well, excellent this weekend. It was like a turnaround for them, but the turnaround, for us that know where it comes from, we can tell you it comes from the cool weather. The Mercedes works well when the weather is cool. Now it's working well in a good weather, 100%, and that is where the Mercedes thrives. And they did a good job, a fantastic job. The drivers did a fantastic job this weekend, coming into Las Vegas and taking up the advantage and pushing it to the edge. Unfortunately, Lewis Hamilton was unable to do that in the last stint. In the Q3, he was unable to replicate what he did in the FP1, FP2, Q1, Q2, which he was top of the timesheet. And in Q3, he lost it. He lost his rear and his braking position in Q3 on his first run, and in Q3 on his second run, he lost the rear. I think all those mistakes piled up and helped him in positioning himself where he is. He will be starting 10th on the grid on Sunday. That is tomorrow. So Lewis Hamilton still have a lot of job to do. He has a lot of work to do tomorrow to make sure he gets himself into a good position, or into a good racing position of victory possibly tomorrow. His second timing was good, though he had his 4 tire legs over the white line. There was nothing he could do. The lap time was cancelled. If that lap time had remained, it could have been in top 3, because that was a good lap time that he also had to top the charts, or the positions in Q2. So let me give you an analysis of what went down in Q1. In Q1, we had Sergio Perez out. Sergio Perez out again in Q1. 16th, Alonso 17th, Albon 18th, Bottas 19th, and Stroll. They did a good job to bring Stroll out, and Stroll was able to give just 1 run, and that run was not enough. And into Q2, we have Ocon, Magnussen, Zhou Guanyu, Colapinto, and Liam Lawson out in 15. Colapinto bolted it up and ran into the wall in turn 15 to met out the red flag and pull everything off for repairs in Q2. That was why there was a delay in Q3 before we set out for Q3. And in Q3, it was an outstanding Q3. We had George Russell pole position, Carlos Sainz second, Pierre Gasly, yes, third, the Alpine third. The Alpine worked well again in another cool damn condition. Wow. Coming from Brazil, nobody would expect the Alpine to come third. Good timing, good opportunity, and they made use of that in Q3. Charles Leclerc fourth, Max Verstappen fifth. Max Verstappen will be lining up with his championship contending mate, Lando Norris, his good friend. So the two of them, 5th and 6th tomorrow on the grid. Who comes on top? We don't know. Though the McLaren is having a good race pace, Ferrari having a good race pace. The race pace of Mercedes and Max Verstappen's Red Bull looks similar from what we saw yesterday, but they've made some decent changes to the car. How will the race pace be tomorrow? We wouldn't know. Yuki Tsunoda starting 7th, Oscar Piastri 8th, Nico Hülkenberg and Lewis Hamilton. Who will win the race tomorrow? From what we are seeing, is looking like a Red Bull Mercedes engine. A Red Bull Mercedes engine. That is what the race looks like. But up until tomorrow, it's going to be a very good race, an exciting Las Vegas Grand Prix. You don't want to miss it. I bring you all the analysis, all the technicalities. I love you guys. Bye. Chill. Watch out.